Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I'm going to be using a TBR jar to pick my July TBR. I'll probably pick 5 or 6 prompts depending on how long the books that I pick are. I'm wanting to prioritize continuing series, and I did make a summer TBR. I would like to put some of those books on my TBR as well. I have some library books I want to get to. I want to continue the Throne of Glass series. For sure, I want to get through all of the Moss First books before the new ACOTAR books come out. And I still have Queen of Shadows through Kingdom of Ash, and then I have all of Crescent City. So I need to get through these books. As far as my TBR last month goes, I did pretty good, but I didn't get through everything because I did have Silver Cloak from the library. I had to read that and get it back. Okay, let's pick our first prompt, hoping for summer seasonal books or a series that I'm continuing. But let's have to see what the TBR jar gives me. Oh, well, no, this is okay, actually. We got pick a contemporary romance, and I do have one contemporary romance series I'm continuing, the DC Stars series. And then I have some on my summer TBR. I'm gonna look through my list for sure and make a decision. So I went ahead and picked one off of my summer TBR. I picked Till Summer Do Us Part by Megan Quinn. This one is a standalone, so I don't have to worry about continuing anything, and I get something off my summer TBR. But in this one, we follow Scotty, who has just started a new job, and everyone at her job but her is married. And to impress her boss, she makes up a story about her husband at a company meeting. And then one of her coworkers points out that she doesn't have a ring. And so she makes up this story about how she's in this unhappy marriage, and her boss has the perfect solution, which is a counseling session with the boss's husband. And so Scotty agrees because either she has to agree or admit that she lied. And so Scotty calls her best friend for help, and the best friend sets her up with his brother, who is like an improv obsessed millionaire. The best friend's brother teaches Scotty that the first rule of improv is to never say no. And this gets them into trouble once they go to their therapy session because he agrees to a summer marriage counseling boot camp with all of Scotty's co-workers. And this one is summery, it seems fun, and just kind of like a nice palate cleanser. I know a lot of people were really liking this last summer. I've had it on my TBR since then, so I'm ready to get to it. So let's go ahead and pick prompt number 2. Hopefully I can continue a series this time. Okay, maybe. Green on the cover. Okay, I'll have to take a look and see what I have with green on the cover. For this one, I am going to continue a series. I'm going to pick A Drop of Corruption by Robert Jackson Bennett. And this is the second book in the Shadow of the Leviathan series. The first book is The Tainted Cup. I read The Tainted Cup recently and 5 stars, really loved it. Contender for favorite book of the year. So I've been pretty excited to continue this one. But this is a mystery story set in a fantasy world. Each book kind of follows a new mystery. So the first mystery did wrap up in the first book. We'll have a new mystery in this one. But we follow Din, who is an assistant investigator to Anna. And Anna has some quirks, including that she doesn't ever leave her house if she can help it, and she always wants to wear a blindfold. So obviously this causes some trouble as far as investigating goes. And Din kind of acts as her eyes and ears, and he goes to the crime scenes for her. And Din is an engraver, which means his memory has been altered to be perfect. He can go to a scene and look around and bring back a perfect description of what he saw to Anna. And this is done through alterations that can give people abilities like the memory engraving, or there's like temporary alterations that can increase their speed and their strength. These alterations are used throughout the world, it's not just on the people. I thought the magic system is really interesting. I really enjoyed this fantasy world. I really enjoyed the mystery. I really loved the characters. And in the second book, they are investigating a treasury officer who has disappeared. He has disappeared from inside his room while all of the doors and the windows in the building have remained locked from the inside. And all of the exits of this building are heavily guarded, so they have no idea where he could have gone. It's discovered that they are not actually investigating a disappearance. This is actually a murder, and that this was just the first move by someone who seems to be able to pass through warded doors like a ghost and predict Anna's moves like they can see the future. This person seems to be targeting the high security compound known as the Shroud, and the Shroud is where scientists kind of are creating this magic and these alterations. And if the Shroud were to fall, the Empire would be robbed of its magic and everything would stop working. And I'm really excited to continue this. I think the third book comes out sometime this year, so I want to get caught up. This isn't a series that I think you necessarily need to continue right away because, like I said, it's a new investigation in each book, but I want want to continue it. And the green on this cover is maybe kind of bluish, but if you look closely, it is green. And honestly, a lot of the greens I found were kind of bluish, so I'm just gonna go with this. Time for prompt number 3. I think I'll pick 5 prompts and then pick a series to continue. I always pick a series to continue just to make sure I'm at least continuing one. But for prompt number 3, we got a book with vampires. Okay, I think I have an idea of what I want to do, but let me just make sure. What I ended up picking is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent, and this is the second book in the Crowns of Nyaxia series. And the Crowns of Nyaxia series is made up of like 3 duologies, so this is the second book in the first duology, but they are all interconnected, and I believe they just read as one long story, so I don't think you could skip around in the duologies. And there's a couple of novellas. I've read the first book, The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and I read the first novella, which is 6 Scorched Roses. I really loved both of them, so I'm excited to continue this one. This one has vampires and trials, and it's a bit more of like a dark fantasy, which is what I tend to enjoy most. But in the first book, The Serpent and the Wings of Night, we follow Araya, who is a human who was raised in the vampire realm, and there are trials called the Kajari, which are held by the goddess of death. And Araya decides to enter the Kajari even though she will be the only human amongst the vampires. And in order to survive, Araya is forced to make an alliance with a vampire named Rain. And Rain is a part of a vampire house, which is rivals with the house that Araya's father, Vincent, rules. So she feels like this maybe isn't the best option, but she doesn't really have any other options if she wants to survive. And I really enjoyed the characters in this. I really liked the trials. I thought they were really interesting and unique. I like vampires in books. In these 3 rival houses that all kind of work differently. Magic works differently for each house. I really enjoyed this and I'm excited to continue. So prompt number 4, let's see. Hopefully, I mean, we have continued a few series. Okay, a book under 500 pages. There's quite a few options for that. I think it'll be harder to continue a series with that one. I'll probably need to pick a first book or a standalone. But let me take a look. So what I ended up picking is definitely under 500 pages. I think it's under 200 pages. It's a short novella from the Sister Solstice series. It's Our Lady of War. It comes after the 3rd book, Spring of Ruin, which I just read and enjoyed. So I want to get through this novella and then be able to continue on to the final book. But the Sister Solstice series is a paranormal romance. In the first book, Autumn of the Grimoire, we follow Agatha, who is Sister Autumn, and she is one of 4 Sisters Solstice. And each sister takes the grimoire during her season, and during her time with the grimoire, she has to do the grimoire's bidding. And Agatha has gotten all kinds of terrible tasks throughout the years. She started wars, plagues, just all kinds of bad things. So she's really not looking forward to her turn, but she gets the grimoire and it instructs her to go to a kingdom and to marry the prince there. And then once she gets there, she realizes that this kingdom has a lot of dark secrets, and she ends up getting tangled up in all of that. And I really enjoy this series. I really enjoy the witches and like the gothic atmosphere. This book has witches, it has animal familiars, among many other things. I never really hear this series talked about much, and I really enjoy it. I recommend. But let's do the 5th and final prompt, and then I will pick a series to continue. I'm really hoping for something good for the final prompt. Okay, well, this one is a book over 500 pages. Okay, well, that could be a lot of things. I know for sure I want to read the 3rd and final book in the Rook and Rose trilogy. I believe that's over 500 pages. Let me just look and be sure. So I picked The Labyrinth's Heart, which is the 3rd and final book in the Rook and Rose trilogy by M.A. Carrick. And this one is definitely over 500 pages. I've read the first 2 books in this trilogy fairly recently. Really loved them, both 5 stars. This is on its way to potentially being a favorite series of mine if this final book goes well. I'm kind of nervous for it, but I'm very excited. And in this one, we follow Ren, who has returned to her home of Nadezhra, where she is trying to on her way into one of the noble households. And she is doing this by pretending to be an estranged family member who is hoping to reconnect. And once she gets there, she ends up getting wrapped up in the games with the nobility to kind of try to work her way up. And through all of this, she also gets wrapped up in trying to solve this nightmare magic that's kind of taking over in Nadezhra. And she's trying to help figure out what this is and what's causing it. This one is a finished trilogy, which is always great. This is also more of a dark fantasy, which I love. We get this really cool magic magic system that uses like ancient geometry, and then we also have pattern, which is kind of like tarot, and imbuing, which imbues objects. Like they have makeup that blends seamlessly and lasts all day, and fabric that can kind of shift colors through imbuing. And I just really like the magic system. I think it's really unique. I love the creatures and the darker side of this story. I definitely recommend this, and I'm very excited to continue. A little nervous, but very excited. And then my final book for the TBR, the series I'm going to continue, I'm going to pick Queen of Shadows, which is the 4th book in the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. And this is a YA fantasy series, a Finnish series that has other interconnected series in a one universe. I really enjoyed this one. I've read the first 3 books. I also read the prequel like novella collection called Assassin's Blade. Air of Fire, which is the 3rd book, was the first 5-star in the series for me, so I'm really excited to continue. But in the first book, Throne of Glass, we follow Selena Sardothian, who is an assassin, and she has been captured and sent to Endervere Prison, where she is meant to stay and work in the mines for the rest of her life. And then one day, the prince and the captain of the guard show up to offer her a deal. And this deal is that she will come and compete in trials to be the king's champion, and if she wins, she will serve as the king's champion for a set number of years, and then she will be free. So she takes this deal and heads to the kingdom. And that's just where it starts out. This series expands and changes a lot. I really ended up loving the characters more and more as the series goes on. We got a lot of good world building in book 3. Book 3 for me was really where things picked up and got exciting, so I am really desperate to continue. But that is going to be all 6 books on my July TBR. Let me know in the comments below, what are you hoping to get to this month? I will leave my Instagram and my Goodreads in the description if you're interested. I would really appreciate it if you checked them out. But I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And I hope to see you all in the next one.